Welcome back to Belmont Bunch, which is increasingly feeling like a chore. I poked my eye really bad right before starting the film, so irritated by the game, irritated by poking my own eye with a marker. The Islanders lose 3-1, continue one step forward, two steps back. Played pretty well. 18 shots in the first, looked really dangerous. Had a 2-on-0 that got stopped again. Mike Smith played unbelievable. The Islanders making goalies with sub-900 save percentages look really good recently between both Mike Smith and Grubauer. And God, I just wish the season was over because it's just looking like my teams, none of them are going to make the playoffs this year. The Islanders were my number one hope. The Yankees, not optimistic about. The Red Bulls are the Red Bulls. They might make the playoffs. They'll get bounced in round one. And the Knicks. And the Jets. So we're doing great here. The Islanders, though, gave up goal to Cody Ceci after dominating the first period and not scoring. Too much time for Ceci to set up from the point. And the Oilers did a good job of getting a little bit of net front traffic for Sorokin to deal with. It's 1-0 there. Second period, Zach Hyman comes in on a 2-on-1 after not a great pinch from Ryan Pulock, who otherwise had a pretty good game. And Zach Hyman scores on the 2-on-1, and it is 2-0. It wasn't like an absolute bullet of a shot from Hyman, so it's one of those weird nights where a bunch of goals, none of them felt like super unstoppable for Sorokin, but nonetheless, they all get through. And 2-0 there. Some hope is snatched in the second period. The Islanders get a power play. They score on it. Ryan Pulock, like I said, did have a good point in this game, and this was that. Good give and go back and forth with Beauvillier, and Beauvillier just snaps one. Always, it's good to see Beauvillier get going. They need it desperately. I want him to be a player that they can hold on to, but he's got 8. The way things are going, he could be a guy that they could move. I'm really looking forward to retooling in the offseason and seeing what they could do. And Bo is he's just okay, and he's young still. Not a terrible contract. If he gets on maybe a more offensive team, maybe he'll get going and just get a return for him. It's tough because you never want to sell low. It's not like they sold low with Taze. That was more of kind of a cap situation, so it's not completely that way. But I would be afraid of a similar result. But sometimes teams get desperate at the deadline. They give up way too much. And so, obviously that's case by case, and you see what you can get for Bo. Anyway, but good shot by Bo, gets them back in it in a game where, again, they were creating scoring chances a lot. They did a good job of getting pucks to the net, again, similar to the Vancouver game, just not, I guess, as much net front traffic. They faced a goalie that just played really, really well as well. And they give up in the third, too many penalties. They committed a few penalties in the third. The goaltender interference one was really funny because, so it's where Smith was. He goes out to play the puck, but he's still partially in the crease. But look, I played soccer. He did the soccer thing, which is one of your legs gets taken out. You're going to throw that second one up in the air, do a little spin, throw the helmet off, see what you can do. And, he gets, he probably should have gotten 2 for embellishment. Doesn't affect the game, so it's not like I'm going, the refs have stolen another one from... No, the Islanders have very much earned pretty much all their losses this year. This one is... harsher to say this one as well, but when you don't have the finishing ability on a 2-on-0 for the third time in 2 games, Wally almost scored a couple times today, but just put a logo shot in. Josh Bailey, one of his better shots of the year, but it was still kicked out, or I think Waffle boarded out. And you can't, I don't know, there's just not enough offensive talent. And it's banging our head against the wall. because every year we go into the season with a little bit of hope after, in the playoffs, they tend to score a little bit more because I guess their play style is more conducive to those ugly goals that happen in the playoffs because they make things happen. They do well in the forecheck. And this year, mostly, I just haven't seen that. And you have to play somewhat well in the regular season to earn that playoff opportunity. The Islanders don't deserve it. Every time they kind of, teams are kind of giving them a shot. The Caps and the Bruins are not playing great right now. But the Islanders, COVID felt like a valid excuse for a little while, but this team just isn't beating, even mid-tier teams. This Islander team is basically just beating bad teams. And, at the end of the year, I very much am starting to expect them to just be a 500 hockey team. And it's just not nearly good enough for the expectations coming in. The third goal, I think that needs to get stopped by Sorokin. It's obviously not an ideal spot to give up a chance, but you got to cover the 5-hole there. It's not like Puljujarvi's going to rip one top corner falling down from 2 inches out. If he does, good on him. Can't give up a low goal there. So not great. Clutterbuck kind of whiffed on, I guess, his assignment there. It's just I don't know, hit me tonight just how I just want the season over. It's just a lost season, and with Barry, still I appreciate him trying to mix up the lines, but it's just clearly not enough talent. And I also don't agree with the deployment of Chara over Salo, and I'm okay with Wally playing where he is because that line is good. That's a good line, Parise, Pacho, and Wally. But it gotta find someone to play with Barzal. I know Clutterbuck actually is filled in okay, but it's inexcusable to not surround Barzal with talent. It's really frustrating, as a fan that mostly grew up in through Tavares' whole Islander career, and you're just like, oh God, please don't do this again. And then don't make Atu the next one of that, where it's just, man, that guy's a really good center. If they could ever fill anyone on his wings. And Dejected. That'll probably be the title of the video. Low energy Jeb tonight from Tom. Just a freaking frustrating season. So yeah, sellable assets. Varley, Bo, Andy Green. It's not a lot of sellable assets. If anybody wants to take Josh Bailey, Kyle Palmieri, give me a call. I will then talk to Lou and see what happens. Anyway, that's it. Next, look in the link in the description, whatever. They get Calgary tomorrow. It's a much more difficult task. I'm sure they won't be up to it. Anyway, from Belmont Bunch, goodbye.